Curriculum, episode number 21. This is our first time having a guest back on the show, this time in a little different circumstance. So I'm up in Coach Martin's neck of the woods now at East Kentwood High School. So I didn't want to pass on the opportunity to come and his first episode we shot at Akron was the most popular episode we've had yet on the curriculum. So I thought it'd be great to get him back on, and we talked a lot about his facility and how he's made changes since I've been at Kentwood. So I really wanted to show you guys that. So I want to give you guys an idea of what he's all done, kind of how he's changed and how he's built this mecca of a facility. I want to talk a little bit about how he actually runs his program, because we didn't get as much into that the first episode. So, like I said, first time having a guest back on the show, so we're super excited to have Coach Martin. Coach, thanks for coming on today.
All right, thanks so much for having me. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a nice warm day in Michigan.
Yeah, it's -6 up here in Michigan. It's a couple days after Christmas, so, but I want to start off, probably selfishly, he probably doesn't want to show you guys this, but I do. I want to show you guys where I lifted when I was here at Kentwood. Just give you guys an idea, just a quick shot, and then we'll walk, like I said, walk into the Mecca, and you guys can see this new place that we get to train when we come back. So follow us in here. So these are the doors that we used to come into to train when I was here. Actually, they weren't. They
weren't. This was the outside.
This is outside. Yeah, this used to be all outside. That's where we came in. Yeah. So come on in here. This is a training room, right, Coach?
Training room, yep. All changed. All these walls, they were all knocked out. It was a weight room. There were 7 squat racks.
This was my squat rack right here, Coach.
Right there? Is that where it was?
Right here. Those are our walk-in doors. And then we had the deadlift platforms and the clean platforms right there.
We did, that's correct. There were seven squat racks, 7 Olympic benches. There were actually 10 platforms, and then a whole bunch of other auxiliary machines. You know, we'd have 75 kids lifting in here in about 1,000 square foot facility. Now they've transformed this into a classroom and athletic training room. As far as an athletic training room goes, it's a great setup. Not many high schools have this sort of facility like this at all.
I think the powerful thing to me when I look at this place is it was very limited, and obviously you guys can't see exactly what equipment was in here, but it was outdated equipment. It was an outdated room, but we got the most out of it.
We did.
And you know, people will see this episode and they'll see this new weight room and think, oh, we can't do the things he does because we don't have that facility, and that's just not true. Because at the end of the day, your main philosophy and the amount of work you get done hasn't changed. It's just you've tweaked things and you do new and different things, but it's not like you said, I don't have the facility I want to get all these athletes through, so screw it, we're just going to do an average job. And I think that to me is the most impressive thing.
And we've adapted everything to what we had at the time. When I first got here 18 years ago, we didn't have 7 squat, we didn't have 7 bench press, we didn't have 10 platforms. But we were able to do what we wanted to do with what we had, and we continued to grow the program. And as we grew the program, we grew the facility.
Right.
And then by growing the facility, it changed our programming as we got better and as the equipment improved. And now we're in a different facility with different equipment and a lot more training tools. And so the philosophy is still the same. We still train everybody the exact same way, running a unified program. It's just we have more training tools now. We were able to take them to whole new levels that we really couldn't quite reach in here, just because we have more space, more equipment.
When did you first know you were getting that?
I think it's been there now 7 or 8 years,
Yeah.
but it wasn't really until 6 months or so before they said, hey, we have some extra money. We've done such a great job with managing our bond money that we have extra money left over. And I had been on them for probably 10, 12 years about eventually getting a facility. And so
we have 10 to 12 years. That's, I mean, you just think about that. You put that idea in their head 12 years before you got it.
Yeah.
Never gave up, kept on pushing for it.
Yeah.
And then, but like I said, people don't want to see that. All they want to see is, oh, Marty Martens gets whatever the hell he wants, and he has one of the best facilities. They don't see the 12 years you worked out in the dungeon with the same amount of athletes.
Right.
And when you were grinding every day to try to get money to facilitate that.
Right, you just have to keep following your dream. You know, you just got to be persistent, and stay on task and do the things that you believe in. And I believe in helping young people. You know, I've said this a lot of times. If we're in a business of doing what's best for kids, that was what was best for kids. And so I wasn't gonna stop chasing that dream for them and continue to be persistent. And boy, it's kind of fun to see where we are right now. It's even more fun to think about where we're going to be in another 5 to 10 years, about how we're going to continue to evolve and grow and continue to make it better. Because you just got to keep grinding. I think it's you got to keep grinding and do the things that you believe in. And we grind here, and we believe in what we're doing. And yesterday, when we were in here, that's evident of why we do what we do. When you get your alumni that come back and train,
Right.
and our first weekday Christmas break, and we had probably 60 people in there yesterday on a day when the roads were terrible, freezing, snowing and blowing, and they still showed up. If you build it, they will come.
I've heard that. Field of Dreams, I think.
Field of
right?
Dreams, yeah. And there we are. So it'll be interesting today too, how many kids we get.
I couldn't believe how many guys were in here yesterday. There
It
was,
was awesome.
I thought it'd be like 6 of us, and there was like 40 people in here.
It was awesome.
Well, you want to show them the new
Let's
product?
do it. Yeah, let's show them.
The new tour
Yeah,
of the
let's do
Mecca. The Mecca of Michigan, as I like to call it. So like you said, this used to be all just outside when I was here.
it. Yeah.
And now the tour begins. Start taking notes.
All right, here we go. So we have about a 6,000 square foot facility. We have 19 power racks, 24 pin select machines. We have 2 pit sharks, which is what you'll see right here in the front. We have 2 pit sharks. We have 1 on each side. Everything is, I try to mirror everything in here. We just finished up a digital media project. The digital media project, we have a total really of 6 televisions and 1 overhead projector. That overhead projector acts as a TV in itself. Within that whole system, we have an HDMI switcher. It's stored in my office, in which I can control every single television and get each television to provide some sort of educational piece for our students. There are 2 Rokus, which is like a flash stick. I think it's a flash stick.
I know you're going Roku.
Fire stick. It's like a fire stick. We got Rokus.
Same thing, right?
Same thing. We have 1 DVD player. There's 2 computers in there and 2 Apple TVs, of which we can do a lot of different things. One, if you see, we have our workouts can be posted. That's a particular workout, Friday, week 4, which we'll talk a little bit as far as our programming goes. As we kind of come down, you'll see this is another different thing where we have the Apple TV on this television. To give you an idea, I took a picture yesterday of the kids that were here. And so that's just a, what do you call that, a screen image or a mirrored image from my
Phone.
from my
You
telephone.
can run anything in there. You can run videos for anything from your
Everything.
phone.
I could do that right now. So I could videotape you doing
Power clean.
your power clean. And then I can post that right away. The kids can see it. I can put it on 1 television. I can put it on all 7 televisions. I can run the different pictures. So I have a picture, picture display. So I just put 1 picture up there so they can get an idea of how many kids were here yesterday. We'll kind of show where there's a DVDs that are playing, some TRX, and then on the big screen when we walk that way, I'll talk about that. But that's a new project that we just did. Really, that'll just be in play. Really, when we get back 2nd semester, we really haven't done much with it yet because it just got done for Christmas break. We have 19 power racks, as you can see. Each of our power racks, as you look, we're really anal about how things look here. Everything needs to be put back a certain way. You know, as our athletes come in, as Coy Wen, who's filming this for us today, former EK grad, he'll tell you, and he's one of Marty's meatheads that comes in and trains after school with a bunch of alumni. They come back and we train together, but everything goes back a certain way. This is how we stage it. Everybody has their own vision of what they want to do. We stage it a certain way here, and our kids know that. So when they leave, they know in order for them to get dismissed during class, or even after school, or in the summertime, they're expected to put things back a certain way.
Demanded. They're demanded.
Yeah, it is. It's just an expectation, right?
You don't get out of this weight room without this room being like this. And I've witnessed it and I've obviously experienced it. But that's, yeah, there's a reason this weight room isn't set up like this for this episode today. This is, you walk in here at any time, this is exactly what this place looks like, which is, you gotta respect the things that you had, you know, which is incredible.
We do. For being 7, 8 years old now, I mean, it still looks really new. I mean, it's one thing when you're going out, if you're going to get equipment, you want to make sure you get quality equipment. There's some things that we can talk about in terms of how we came up with the company that we did at the time. But the part of the philosophy of what we did was we continued to try to build the stations from the inside out. So if Coach Sleeve and I were partners, this might be the station we're at for the whole entire hour during class. We really don't leave. We build everything with our staging rack, so we have a lot of our bands, we have no bounce medicine balls, regular medicine balls, a whole bunch of other different types of training tools that we can use to help us get through our workout. And the beautiful thing about it is everything's within hand reach. I just have to step and get whatever it is I'm looking to get and then get right back to my station. So we become more efficient, more effective, more time on task. And with that, with our about 40 to 45 minutes that we actually have in terms of workout time, we get a lot done. You know, really the only times we have to leave our station is if we're going to get dumbbells and or maybe a stability ball, PVC pipe, or a specific smaller band that I keep locked up because if you don't lock certain things up, they disappear. You know, and so we're not made of money here. I mean, we found a way to get money, but you know, it's all about putting your kids in a position to be successful. So we stage it right way, so when we come in, we can get right after whatever it is we're trying to get done. So we have 19 racks throughout the room, and we get a whole lot done in that amount of time in which we're in here.
How many kids you'll have in here at one time?
We'll have upwards is around 74 to 76, just depends if they give us a little bit of an overload. Usually 74, we'll have 2 classes, an hour.
And you got 4 teachers in here? Or
Two. Just
teachers.
2. One teacher. I think we're contractually limited to 37. Once in a while we'll do 38. I won't go much over that one extra person. But so we'll have 76 people, of which within that 76, we'll talk about programming in a minute, but there's a certain way we program based upon the amount of people, students that are in here in that particular hour.
Well, I mean, I think especially in high school coach, you guys probably relate to this more. I know us on the college level, we would throw a hissy fit if we had to coach 76 guys at one time, or 38 for you and the other coach, 76 for 2. The amount of organization that takes is incredible. So I guess when you think about managing 76 people at one time, what are the things that come to your head as far as this is what I have to do to be successful?
First thing is you have to know what your programming is. You got to know what it is we're trying to get done for the particular day. So I think our curriculum is set. We have a vision of what it is we're going to do here. Which one is a unified program where we're going to teach everyone. We teach them the same way. We don't separate sport from sport. We don't separate non-sport or non-athletes from athletes. Right. We have a program that we're going to follow, a unified program. And that's why I travel around the country talking about how to unify a program, how to get everybody doing the exact same thing, no matter if you're a guy or a girl, athlete or non-athlete. And so with that, the program is important. We know when we get here, we're going to have certain things programmed a certain way for each and every single day. Right. Then within that part, that's when really the fun begins. We really have, and I took part of this from Chris Doyle. I've spent a bunch of time with him, and I like how he's kind of broken things up. And we had things broken up, but some of our verbiage was different. And so he's simplified a few things in terms of the verbiage that he uses to help separate your different groups within your class. And so we'll have 3. We'll call it 3 groups. He has 5, we have 3, but within a certain group that I'll get to, there's some more subgroups within that. So we have what we call our Devo 1 kids, our developmental 1. They're our first timers, the first time they've ever been in here. We have our developmental 2 students, which that means that's the second time, or the second semester they've been in class. And then we have veterans. So we have developmental 1 or Devo 1, we have Devo 2 or developmental 2, and then we have veterans. Well, within our veterans group, there are some other subgroups. We'll have in-season athletes, we'll have out-of-season athletes, we'll have game day athletes 1 to 2 days out of a game, we'll have non-athletes, and we'll have another category we look at in terms of injured students, injured athletes. I mean, it could be injured athletes and injured non-athletes. Somebody that's got some sort of tweak that this program is going to be a little bit different. So then that we have anywhere from 7 to 8 different subgroups within a particular class. Now, if we didn't have our programming all structured in a certain way, there's no way we could get things accomplished anymore.
You have to keep things simple, from the way you explain them to the way the verbiage you use to, like I said, I can't imagine. I think probably the biggest thing I can hear people asking right now is, how in the hell do you get all the sport coaches to buy into what you do? And obviously it probably didn't just happen. It's something you've developed, but what was that process for you to get that done?
You know, I go back to, I think it is a process, and it doesn't happen overnight. You're going to get the naysayers, and you're going to get those people that don't believe in lifting. There's old school. You know, it wasn't like that when I was here. We went through that in the beginning. You know, we had some different coaches on staff that have been here a long time and were part of athletic training, athletic weightlifting, athletic strength and conditioning. And so it took some time, but when you take, I remember going back to an athlete we had here was a softball player. She was a Division I softball player, and she was a pitcher, and I can't recall exactly what her miles per hour. Let's say her fast pitch was 51 miles an hour, and she went through a whole year with us in advanced PE. And that following year, the only thing that changed was what she did in here. She had never strength trained before. She went through our program at the time the way it was, and her fastball increased like 3 miles an hour. It went from 51 to 54 miles an hour. But what was the difference? The training was the same. Her training, you know, with her sports, with her individual workouts hadn't changed. The only thing that had changed between that year's time and what she'd done in here. And so her coach, who wasn't a proponent or wasn't an advocate of strength and conditioning, because she really didn't know, became an advocate and started to encourage some of those players of hers to get involved in the class. And so it took time like that, where you had stories of kids that not only transformed their body and changed their body, but you know, they became bigger, better, faster, and stronger for a little simplicity. And so you know, that started to grow the program. And we went from one class to where we are now. You know, 6 hours a day, anywhere from 10 to 12 sections throughout a semester. So, you know,
you have how many classes a day?
We have 10 to 12.
10 to 12 classes
10 to 12 classes a day. I'll have, there's 6 hours in a day, which I have 5 hours.
So you run 5 lifts a day? Does that make sense? Is that right?
We run 5. Yeah, there's 5. Well, there's 5. There's really 6. There's 6. There's actually 7. There's 7 lifts because we have 6 hours. So every hour there's 1 to 2 classes in here of advanced PE, and then we have the after-school mirror program, which is a whole other animal in itself. So
you're on your feet for all those
the whole time. We're moving.
Dude, I'm telling you right now,
We don't sit down.
I can't imagine coaching 6 groups in a row. I mean,
It's 7 groups in a row.
7 groups because you do the close, and then you train yourself after that.
And then we train ourselves after that. So I get out of here about 6:30, 7 o'clock every night. So we have the whole entire day of anywhere from 10 to 12 classes, 6 hours a day, 60 minutes. And then we have a mirrored program after school. So we live 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And then, so then after school, there's a whole other group within itself after school. We'll have kids that have already had, or students that have already had advanced PE, and they come to this section where we're standing. Or the kids that already had advanced PE, well actually the section there, so the kids that haven't had advanced PE come to this section.
Was it Evo 1 guys?
Well, they could be. So then after school kids that haven't had advanced PE, it's that same subgroups again. You'll have you know, the Devo 1, you'll have the Devo 2, you'll have advanced PE students that have been in the class before, but then we train them all the exact same way.
Right.
We'll look at the programming sheet. I'll have Coy plan up to that in a minute. But we take them through after school just like we do during the school. We lead everything. You know, back in the day when Coach Lee was here, you know, we all get smarter as we do this. You know, I've been doing this for about 28 years, and I got smarter in like year 26, where I said, okay, I have to lead everybody. I tried to develop leadership. You know, you think about developing leadership skills, and so you give kids some freedoms. And it took me 26 years to figure out that was not the best way to do it, right? Because they're high school kids. And so we lead them through everything. We go through all of our primers, or if you don't call it a primer, if you call it, you know, your prehab or your warm up, whatever verbiage or terminology that you use, I used to give them some way more freedom. Well, that didn't work. It didn't work because, you know, your elite athletes did it, your ones that were somewhere in between did it most of the time, and then some kids didn't do it. So you're like, oh, I can't work on that leadership quality. I gotta make sure people get trained completely. And so we lead them through everything, every auxiliary that we do, every primer activity that we do, we lead them through it.
Do you structure your groups throughout the day? Like, will you try to put your elite athletes at 2 o'clock, or is it just pretty much scrambled?
That's so hard. You know, that's another great question. Do we have a specific girls basketball class? Do we have a football class? Do we have the best of the best? For me, I love it the way we do. It's harder this way, but I love everybody being together of all different levels.
So it's sprinkled in.
Sprinkled in.
But that works out perfectly for your plan, though, because you're gonna have your 4 elite racks, you're gonna have your 4 developed 2 lifts, and your 4 developed.
Correct.
So it all.
That's a great point, Steve. Because so when we do is Hoyt pants, our far racks and that far wall tend to be our most current bets. People that have been in here the longest. So on racks 1 through 6 on the far wall, close to the mirrors, that becomes our most advanced lifters. And then in the middle becomes our second most advanced lifters. And then these particular racks, these first 6 here, and even the 7th rack over there will be more of our Devo 1, Devo 2 kids. Because I want to put like people together. As you look at programming, what we'll try to do is we'll have what we call developmental 1, or Devo 1s with Devo 1s, we'll have Devo 2s with Devo 2s. We'll have in-season athletes with in-season athletes. We'll have out-of-season athletes with out-of-season athletes. And then we'll have, you know, other people that have those life experiences together. So we try to group them together, and then we put them in the particular racks closest to each other, so those groups are most similarly mirrored. So that way when I'm teaching and differentiating our instruction, because really what that is, and although we have our program, we differentiate that instruction with all of those different subgroups that we talked about. And so at the beginning of the class, when we're leading them through all their primers, when we get ready to get to the cores,
Will everybody do the same primer?
they will.
And then that's when they split off from there?
Yeah, and there'll be a few tweaks within the primer, a few, but mostly, almost 99.9% of the time, all the primers are the same, no matter what group you're in.
Don't worry, we're the same way. And our guys are, we're gonna do the same.
Yeah, there might be a little bit, you know, with the neck. I might cut them back on a certain amount of time. If I got a football game tonight, so we might not do so much with the neck. So we'll look at what that is if they're 1 to 2 days out from their game day adjustments. But everybody does the primers almost the same, with very minimal tweaks. And so when we get to the cores is when that really differentiated instruction really takes place, based upon those different subgroups that we talked about. And so, I mean, we're moving. We don't have time, and I'm spitting it out, the information in terms of what they're doing, how the adjustments are made based upon all the subgroups that they're in, and then we coach the heck out of them during that time frame.
How much time is each group? Is 40-some minutes?
It really ends up being about 40. It's between 40 to 45 minutes once we get in here. And I am not very nice about wasting time, you know. And so they don't get that. Sometimes kids interpret me raising my voice, coaching with enthusiasm, as no, we got music going in here, and weights are banging and clanging, and you got 76 kids in here. You're going to be loud, so you can't mix up, you know, that sort of emotion, volume, loudness of a voice as you're trying to project in a huge room like this as a sign of emotion.
Right.
And so we get a lot done. It's fun to watch. You know, as much of a bad rap as young people get in this day and age with not being as motivated and not working as hard as they could. You know, sometimes they say, that's on us as a group of young people as leaders. We've enabled them. Well, it's fun to sit back and see all the types of work that we do here and watch 76 kids get after it.
Organized chaos.
It is.
Beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, it's awesome. But we couldn't, you know, it goes back to we couldn't do it if we didn't have the organization, our curriculum. That, you know, we weren't unified. I think that's probably the biggest factor.
I would agree, especially in your situation. I think when I talk to high school coaches, or they call me or come see me, and when I get the gist of what their issues are, it comes down to what you say. And you've been preaching it for forever about that game. But about without your unity that you've created with the school, with the coaches, with the administration, none of this is here. None of the organization is here. So I think when you talk about that stuff, that's the most powerful thing is getting everybody on board. I don't know how in the hell you do it if you didn't have that. I honestly can't think of how you'd be successful without that. You talk about it so much.
Yeah, unification is key. You got to be unified. You have to have a vision, a purpose, a plan, curriculum, whatever you want to call it. I know we do that, and we tweak it. You know, in the earlier episode, we talked about all the travels that I do. You know, I've developed some great relationships with some great people all over the country, and I've learned from some of the best, because there are some great ones out there. And you bring that information back here, and you fit it in what program that it is, that we believe in here. We don't wholesale throw it all out. We don't start over after I go visit the University of Akron with Coach Mangel. That's how it happens. I look to see some of the things that he does, I figure out how that fits into what we do, right? And then we make adjustments. And we fit it into our skeleton. And we have a skeleton that we follow for what it is we expect to accomplish each and every single day. And gather all of our results, our pre-tests, our post-tests, which we just finished up our post-testing. So over the break, we get a chance to analyze what we did well and then what we need to improve on. Then you go back and say, how do I tweak it? How do I tweak it for next semester? How do I tweak it for our summer session? How are we going to tweak that again for next year, 2018, 2019? How are we going to grow the program and continue to make it better? How are we going to evolve? How are we going to grow? How are we going to continue to do what's best for our young people? And, it's a fun job. It's a fun process. It takes a ton of time. You know, people think we're just down here throwing weights around, and that's so far from the truth. You know, I've told you lots of times I don't claim to know everything. There's no about strength and conditioning. I work super hard at what I do. I try to get better at every single day. You know, I love learning from you. You know, you learned from me a long time ago.
I'm still learning from you.
Yeah. Young Jedi. Yeah, you've done some amazing things where you are, and I love coming down there and seeing what you do. I love when you come up here and see what you do.
I look forward to this just as much as anything else, man. All right, well, I want to dive in a little bit of the what's, and then we talk about how those aren't the most important things. We talk about the hows, how you organize. So you get, if I'm one of your elite athletes, one of your top tier guys, you see me 5 days a week, or
I'll see you 5 days a
you see me
week.
5 days a week. So, I mean, I guess why don't we just break that down for everyone watching and for me of what my week's gonna look like Monday through Friday. We can be pretty general and get as specific as we want.
So we live 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We're traditionally Monday, Thursday right now, we're back, thighs, and legs. On Tuesdays and Fridays, we are chest, tries, and shoulders. Wednesday is our speed and agility day. Could we do more of that? Could we have, 3 days a week? For us right now, we'd like to stay on a 4-day-a-week program, but 1 day would be the speed and agility component of it. I believe as far as the extra individual sort of work that they do, they're an athlete, their coaches can do. I'm trying to do what their coaches can do. That's right here in the way that. So we'll go through our primers in the beginning.
That's your dynamic.
That's our warm up. Yeah, that's our prehab. I like the word primer. It's like priming up your engine, getting your engine going. So we're going to do all the things that we need to do to prepare our body to do the core lifts. And we work from head to toe, from anterior chain to posterior chain. And we have certain things that we do.
What do you consider your core lifts?
Our core lifts on Monday and Thursday will go. We got back squat on Monday. We got front squat on Thursday. Tuesday we have bench press and we have incline press. But we will start out with some sort of dynamic movement.
And you'll do that all in here?
We do it all in here. We don't move anymore. We don't move anymore. The weight room as big as it is, and the structure like it is, and the way our stations are staged, we can do everything right in here at our stations. And we have enough space if we need to move, we can utilize the space in between. But on our, going back to the legs, what's the primers look like? We'll start out with some sort of hip mobility. If I had enough hurdles, I could break a couple of hurdles at each station. But we have 4 different hurdle workouts along with 4 different dynamic hip movement patterns that we do. We'll go into a progressive hamstring warm-up. So we'll go from hip mobility to dynamic hip series to hamstrings. We'll always do something for concussion reduction, so we'll do something every single day for our neck and or our traps.
And that's part of your primer.
That's part of our primer. We'll do grip strength, whether you're pinching or gripping or crushing every single day. We'll do a pull-up series. So we're going to do some sort of pull-ups, whether it's from the barbell, or from the barbell on the ground, and or hanging up on the platforms. And we'll have band-aided, or we will use weight or whatever. This is some sort of teaching progression. To go
Band-aided, not band-aided.
Yeah, band-aided, that's correct.
We're not talking about the little band-aids, we're talking about the big ones.
Yeah, the big bands. The big bands. And then I might have missed something in there.
So primer, how long you'll come in here? How long will you allot for primers?
It takes about probably 15 to 20 minutes. A good 20 minutes when we're doing everything's led through. And we'll have the way it's staged now. Again, we'll go up to this in a minute, but I group it in groups of 2 to 3, depending upon what those primers are, and whether or not we have 2 to 3 groups per state, or 2 to 3 people per station.
Why don't we just block over here just so I
Yeah.
can see it now?
So, well, here's an example on a Friday workout. Now everything we've gone green, so we no longer have paper. So as Coy pans in and run a Friday workout, we're gonna go through our primer. So we'll start out with a stick series, and then we're gonna go single arm dumbbell shrugs and sabers. And again, that's something you guys can read. You don't really need to repeat it, and you'll see a line below the saber. So what that means is if I have 3 people in a group, there's gonna be one person doing something at that same time.
Okay.
So it's really high intensity as you look at it. So let's say if it was Mark Atkins and you and me, all 3 of us were together, one person would be doing 6 series, the other person would be doing the single arm dumbbell shrugs, the third person would be doing sabers. So all 3 of us are doing one of those exercises at the exact same time. And then I count it out. I count on every single rep that we do. And then, so we'll go through 2 rounds of that. And then after the second round, we'll start the next, boy, you want to pan back up there again. We'll start that second round, which is the 6-point neck disability. And that's a progression where we've got in terms of our neck, ABCs, and we'll do single leg calf raises. And again, each person within our 2 to 3 people at each group will go from one person will be doing the 6-point neck disability, the other person will be doing ABCs, the other person will be doing the single leg racks and calf raises. Again, I'll lead it through, whether it's starting the clock on timing or counting on each rep. And then so then we'll finally get to our third progression. Again, Coy, if you can pan back up there. There'll be plate grips, lateral straight leg lifts, and then we're working our core statue exercise. So we'll go through all 9 of those exercises for 2 sets. And we finish those auxiliaries or those primers or those prehabs. And then we'll go to the core lifts, which on Friday is our incline, and then we'll do some form of shoulder press, whether it's dumbbell work, military press, single arm, alternating arm. Again, there's a whole teaching progression and style that we do.
That's an insane amount of work that we got before. That's freaking awesome.
We get taught that, it wouldn't happen.
76 kids
76
and 2 teachers.
And 2 teachers. And it wouldn't get done if we weren't organized and if we didn't lead them through it.
So I guess my thing is they know all this stuff now, correct? But if I come in here, I know what a saber is, right? You don't have to explain this stuff every day.
Correct.
So how do you keep it simple throughout the 8 weeks as far as your movement patterns, or how do you make it so you don't have to come in here and explain shit to me for 30 minutes out of the 40?
Right. There's always a quick bit of instruction, quick bit of demonstration, and so that's what we've done. I'll get Coach Sleeve to demonstrate a saber quick.
Okay.
And so you'll demonstrate that to the group. I might demonstrate, or I'll preface to the beginning, and I'll say, today you're going to do the sabers, and Mark's going to do the single arm dumbbell shrugs. So we'll have that already set up at the beginning of the class. Now, where we're going with it, so we can be more time on task, more efficient, more effective, is that we're going to take people like Coy to come in, and he's going to videotape all of our different primers, all of our different prehabs or auxiliaries. He's going to record all of those things, and we're going to put that to a video file. So when our students first come in, on each of the televisions, we have our order of our primers that we're going to do today, with a little label that shows what it is in the last 5 seconds, and we'll go to the next one in the order in which they're going to appear in our workout day. So they're out when they come in and they're waiting in our transition time from class, they'll have an opportunity to see it and get a visual of what it is that they're doing. So that'll speed things up. That'll make things look right. But one of the things we go back to, I think the workout's going to stale. The kids get bored. So with us having a skeleton of everything that we're going to do on each and every single day that we're in here, that skeleton doesn't change week by week, but the workout does. So if I know what it is I'm supposed to do on a Monday and a Thursday, exactly what it is we want to get done, I'll keep those same auxiliaries or primers on week 1 on Monday and Thursday, the same ones on Tuesday and Friday. Well, next week I look at my skeleton. The skeleton hasn't changed. It's just I'm going to attack those areas a little different, with different exercises, and maybe some different reps depending upon what progression we're in. Are we in a hypertrophy phase? Are we in a strength phase? Are we in a power phase? So those will change, but again, for that Monday and that Thursday of that second week, same skeleton, different exercises that attack it the exact same way. So we'll keep those for 1 week, and then it changes week 2, and then it changes for week 3. So it's always something different.
So you'll cycle pretty much in 1 week blocks, and that's how you'll cycle your movement.
Yes.
And so if you have a hypertrophy phase, how long is that, 4 weeks?
Yeah, we're going to go in 4 weeks.
And then you'll block the movements 1 week at a time.
Correct.
That's like upper echelon stuff, man.
Well, then what we'll do, the great thing is when I'll come down and see you train, or I go down and watch Scott Cochran train at Alabama, or Chris Doyle, or any of those people that I've gone to see, I go, man, that's a great primer. That fits in perfectly. That's another exercise that we haven't done that trains that area the exact same way they want it to, but different. So the kids, if we're working the posterior chain, we haven't done that before, and it's new. Kids like new, but we're still accomplishing our task, still accomplishing our goal, still priming that area, warming up, getting ready to receive that weight when we get ready to do a core work.
So when you get the incline bench, is that a movement that everybody will do from your elite guys to your developmental guys?
Not in the beginning. See, that's part of where the change. If you're a Diva 1 or Diva 2, it's going to be a little bit different. I got to know where you are. So
we'll just be, if it's me and Martens on rack 1, once we get there, you just say, okay, here's the incline bench,
yes.
Here's your numbers, you guys go. And so it's you just do a lot of time, like before you'll say, okay, we got to move on to standing dumbbell military press now. Or how do you organize those sets?
Great. I know that when we get to that point in time, we're going to have X amount of time left. There are 2 cores that I want to get done. Now, it's going to change a little bit depending upon rest and recovery in between sets, depending on where we are in our cycle. I know what we can get done. Most students can get the incline press done. Now, if they bang those out, they've got the second core, which in that particular day was our standing dumbbell military press. If they're still working hard, they're an elite person like yourself. Absolutely. Then they can get to the third core. So there's 3 cores out there that they can get done. So some kids, they might need more recovery. That if we're in that 12, 10, 8 phase of the hypertrophy and they're shot and they don't feel like they're ready to hit that second set yet, it's going to take a little longer.
They do a good job of regulating themselves. I mean, obviously, you're on top of people. People aren't messing around with weight room. I get that, but you're more or less kind of trusting them to say, hey, when you're ready, hit the next set.
Right.
And they know that they're not going to mess around, so they stay on task.
For most of them, I mean, you have kids that are off task, and that's my job to walk around and to give them constructive criticism and get them back on task. It doesn't matter where we are, whether you're high school or college. I mean, the kids sometimes get off task, but I mean, they know exactly what they're supposed to do. They understand the routine. We progress them from a developmental 1 to somewhere into our veteran. And it's my job to continue to go around and make sure those that aren't on task are on task. But again, like I talked about earlier, it's fun to go back and see kids, sit back and watch, and see once we get to that core phase, how many kids get after it, and really do a great job of the things that you hope that young people would do. But again, it goes back to they're not going to do it if we're not organized, if we don't have a plan, if we don't have a program for them. But I give them enough within that core that if they're banging them out, well, then they got some extra that they can get done. And if they only get the incline, I'm okay with that because we've got a lot done with our primary activities, and they still attack that large muscle group like we want them to.
The thing I love about that too is I don't think people spend enough time with their warm-ups, but really what your warm-ups are is their work. But they're way to trick kids into working. So kids think, I'm just warming up, but really we're getting some of the main stuff that we want to get out on that day, we're getting done in the warm-up, and they don't think the workout starts yet. So it's a great way to trick them. So I love how you program really your most important stuff. Some of your most important stuff is in the beginning. It is. Which is the same philosophy I have is, yeah, we're going to warm up for 20 minutes, but by the time that warm-up's done, these kids, we've gotten some of the most important things I want to get done that day, and they don't think the workout started yet. So it's a way to trick kids into staying on task, but tricking into getting some serious work done.
Right. And then the great thing about what we do is with our elite, it doesn't even have to be athletes, our elite people, our people that are motivated to take this to a whole nother level. When they come in after school, and I talked to you about earlier how I split them up into two different groups from, with the after school kids, the kids that have already had advanced PE for the day. The advanced PE kids that come in after school, they'll look back up at the program, and usually it's like Coach Kimbrough and myself are in there after school. And so Coach Kimbrough takes the non-advanced PE kids for the day, and he takes them through everything. I'll then work with the advanced PE students that have already had the class, and I'll take them through and say, here's some of the primers I want you to hit again, to get your body warmed up and prepared. And then they go back and we'll work on the cores that they didn't get done in class. So if all I got done was the incline press, because I didn't have enough time or I needed more recovery between sets, I'll then finish up my other core, which would be some form of, on a Friday would be some form of shoulder press, whatever variation that might be, and then another single arm isolation chest movement pattern. So if I'm inclining, it's going to be something flat bench. If we started on the flat bench that day, maybe some sort of incline movement pattern. And then when they complete that, there are a combination of other auxiliaries that are listed below those last 9 that they can do. So there's still a method to the madness of what we're doing of our beginners to our elites,
right,
as well as our extremely elite or our motivated that want to come in after school and continue to get more.
I think, like I said, for the people watching, the fact that you tier things, I think, is so important, and you have extremely elite athletes. I think that's the biggest thing since I've been here. We had good athletes, but you have multiple guys getting recruited by Notre Dame and Alabama and Michigan. So you have to do some things that other places don't have to do. As far as if you're a basic high school that doesn't have those kind of guys, there's no need to have chains and do all this kind of. But so you have that program for elite guys, but at the same time, your lower level athletes, you're keeping their program simple.
Right.
They don't have to back squat 405 and do all those kind of things. You're going to progressively get them there. I think a lot of the high school coaches I talk to, or some problems I see, is everybody wants to do all the fancy stuff. Everybody wants to train like you're training an NFL athlete. Well, you're not. So I think the essential thing that I take away from this is one, the unified program that you have. I think without that, you couldn't have the success you have. But the tier that you have, understanding that you have different levels of athletes. Not all your athletes are going to Alabama and Michigan, but some of them are. So you change your program for that. I think that's an essential thing to understand here, because I think a lot of coaches, a lot of high school coaches, they just want, hey, Marty Martens, you're a freshman, let's see how much you can squat. Why don't we learn how to hip hinge first? Why don't we learn if you can go underneath a hurdle first before we start doing it?
Right.
Why don't we teach you how to activate your hamstrings before we start seeing how fast you can run? So I think those things are absolutely essential, and it's what I love most about what you do is obviously your open-mindedness is probably where I got mine from. I would assume that was probably not bred in me, but I know since I've known you, you've always been so open-minded. So I think I take that from you. That's why I'm such a lifelong learner, because you are who introduced me to this industry. So I think I definitely take that from you. But those are some awesome things I like. What's your goals for 2018? Whether it's personal, whether it's in here, whether it's the facility, the program, what do you want to get done in 2018?
Well, for me, with our digital media project, I think that's a huge part of trying to take our students to a different educational level. You know, I haven't done a good job in 28 years of classroom work. You know, I always thought, do I give up time in here to spend time in the classroom? And we haven't. I know that we needed to be in here. I needed to do things in here that coaches couldn't do, but I also, at the same time, there were components of fitness, components of strength training, of being a lifelong learner and active participant.
Yeah. Being able to leave here and be healthy.
Be healthy, yeah, and a lifestyle. I mean, that there were components that I wasn't teaching them, I wasn't getting to them, and so that's part of the whole digital media process for us now, is that I can educate them visually. We're visual learners. Our students, our athletes, our young people in general are visual learners. And so everything we'll have on the television is going to be visual. It's going to teach them a whole lot of different things in a different way that I've never done before. So I'm excited to see what we do. When I say what we, because there's other people, and I would say, okay, let's try this, what we like, what didn't we like? Do you have an idea? How can we tweak and add this and make it better? So there's 8 to 10 ideas we have for this process. So it's going to be fun to see how this evolves and what it does, and how changes can be made. So that's huge for us. And again, I think anything else, it's our numbers in terms of our pretest process. I always love looking back to see what it is we need to get better. I know we really spent a lot of time on our concussion reduction. We measure net girth. We look at all of the beginning measurements that we had, all of our pre-tests, all of our post-tests, to see what our overall average net girth size was for the whole entire student population with all of our classes, and look at each person individually to see their gains. But also, I guess another goal would be what's the next piece of the puzzle here.
Right.
So I mean, somebody asked me, they said, so what are you going to do next? So that the next part, what's the next key component? What's the next piece of equipment we're going to get? What's the next tool? I said maybe the next big project. I don't know, it's been 2018. Maybe if it's 2019, is we're trying to increase space. There's a storage room on the other side of the area. Possibly knock that out. We've been talking to our principal and our superintendent, assistant superintendent. They know that we've outgrown the space. We service about 450 to 600 kids a day. And with that being said, we need more space because we still even get crowded in this big facility now. So we'd gain about another maybe 1,000 to 1,500 square feet. Put a door through there, take a lot of our auxiliary pieces over, a lot of our cardio. Although we don't have a lot of cardio because I'm not big at having the cardio. That's not what we're going to do. It's not what we do. And then eventually branch out to 24 racks. So we have 4 rows of 6, 24 power racks, all looking the same. And, sky's the limit.
Where are you looking to visit in 2018? Anything planned right now, or any place you really want to get down to and see?
New?
Akron, obviously.
Akron, obviously. Are you talking new?
Oh yeah, new or a place you want to get, you're like, yeah, I want to get back there really bad and check out some stuff.
There really tends to be about 8 schools right here in the Midwest that I try to get to every single year. We have Akron, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Wisconsin. And there's several others that I try to get to at least once a year. Alabama, Duke, Maryland, North Carolina State, North Carolina, and Virginia Tech. This year, I'd like to get to Clemson.
Okay. That'd be great. I'd love to see that.
We were supposed to work it out last time, we didn't quite work out, so I plan in Clemson, in Georgia, and possibly Minnesota, LSU, and or Texas. I've got people that I know in all of those places. It's just a matter of all the time. I can't get to all the places anymore like I like to because they're so spread out. But for sure, Clemson and Georgia. When I go down to North Carolina to work camp this summer, at the end of camp, I know that those are the 2 places that I get to new. pretty good programs, pretty good strength coaches there.
I'd like to go to Texas. I've talked to Yancey on the phone a few times, and I know a lot of the stuff he does, but he's very progressive, and he's always trying to find the next new thing, or he's demoing equipment or something. But I'd like to go down there, and I'd like to more of what he does too. I think you'd be very impressed with him. He's confident of that. He's not very good.
I don't know him. I know Coach Peoples, who's one of the assistants.
Oh yeah. Oh, Nate's there?
Nate's there.
At Texas.
He's in Texas.
I wound up in Texas.
Huh?
He was at Mississippi State.
Mississippi
He was straight to Texas from Mississippi State.
Yeah. Yep.
So he's been all over, man. That guy's a great person.
He's awesome.
I haven't talked to Nate in a while. I gotta hit him up.
Fun thing, I'm speaking at
Yep.
Detroit Lions in March. And then
When is that? March
March 10th.
March 10th. If you guys are in Detroit, Coach Martens is speaking at the Detroit Lions clinic. And I know he'd love to spend as much time as anybody he can talking. So if you guys are local or you guys want to drive up there, you guys can see Coach Martens there.
And then probably NC State with Coach Burnett. He's doing a clinic we talked about coming down there in the spring. So
When is his clinic? Do you know?
don't know the date yet.
I'd like to come down with you. If it was a weekend or something like that, I'd love to.
He's one of the great ones out there. We've talked about that before. So sometime in the spring down at NC State, I'm supposed to speak, and then with the Lions, and then I'm looking forward to 2018. I'm looking forward to growing and getting better.
No, there's no doubt, and we're gonna try to get you. You're gonna CSCCA certified this year. You're gonna be down at the clinic with me.
Yeah, Texas.
Anybody going down to Fort Worth for the CSCCA, come have a beer with Coach Martens and I, and we're gonna drag him down there. Which that's been a long overdue. You're gonna freaking love that.
I can't wait. Can't wait.
But yeah, man, it's been a pleasure as always, and I'm looking forward to everyone seeing this. Like I said, this is our first go around was the most popular episode we've had. So on your home turf, and I think this is awesome for you.
It's the first time you took your road on the show, or your show on the road.
To another weight room, yeah. We went to
That's right,
we went
you
to
did.
a chiropractor performance specialist
right.
guy.
That's right.
But this is the first weight room we've been to outside of Akron. We did a couple hotel shows too when we were on the road traveling. But yeah, it's first show in Michigan. First show in another weight room, but thank you, and God bless.
God bless you, brother.
And all you watchers out there, have a blessed 2018. Set your goals, enjoy it. We'll see you guys next episode.